Audubon 2456.
File corrupted. Beginning recovery process.
State of the Save is reporting semi-live here on the E3 special edition of File Corrupted. That was a high-quality intro. Everyone's looking at me kind of mad about the semi-live, but that's the best you're going to get. This is exciting. This is a big episode we wanted to do, obviously, with the E3 shenanigans this year.
We're on the show floor now. Technically, everywhere's the show floor.
Are we going to do that bit? Yes.
We just did that bit.
Let's go out to our semi-live reportal, Mike.
Yes.
No, this is a big thing because everybody I've talked to that has had a harder time this year and last year following E3 release news and stuff like that. It was kind of another scattershot year. So we figured we'd do all the legwork, or in more accurate terms, Michael did all the legwork.
Yep, I'm following traditions and just waiting until the end of the show and letting you guys tell me about it.
Yes, and I did like half the legwork. So it's a Goldilocks situation going on.
You got all the way to the second day, went, screw this, I'm not watching any more of this.
Yes, pretty much. That's how it went. But we wanted to try to break down the show and also kind of basically talk about all the cool stuff that we're excited for. Because there was a lot of cool stuff that we saw. Kind of jumping into this, figure we just jump right on in. We're going to try to do this in like a by day method here, but we're going to save all the independent games and the indies to the end. That's because they're kind of spread out all over the show this year.
Some made multiple appearances and multiple things. If you are, what was that? 2 Point University, 2 Point Campus, you've appeared in like 5 different shows.
Yeah, so all of that's getting pushed to the end of the show. So we'll talk about all the big AAA stuff, and then we'll jump into all the indies at the end, which, to be honest with you, is what kind of saved the show for me, was the indie games. There was a lot of really cool stuff there.
I wish listed a lot of things after this was done in terms of like the indie conferences.
Yeah, and I have a massive list of games here that I'm excited for, and I'm probably about 70% of them are indie games. So, Michael.
Yes.
As our most dedicated reporter here at News State of the Save, let's start us off with like what our first conference was, and let's kind of talk this through as we go.
Jeff Keighley descended from the podium and declared that video games were indeed upon us with the SGF Summer Games Fest Day 1 introduction show.
Which was, depending on who you talked to on what day, was either a part of E3 or separate from E3.
Separate from E3. Jeff Keighley's doing his own thing, and then there's the IGN Summer of Games. It's just a confusing mess that is still ongoing. Because Xbox's show was a part of E3. Xbox's extra show that they did when we're recording this today was a part of Summer Games Fest. It makes no sense. The more you try to figure it out, the less sense it makes.
And also it makes it like, I tried to follow as much of this as I could because we have a show to talk about video games on. But it makes it extremely difficult to find out what you need to watch. Because some of this became, well, and we'll get to some of these quote-unquote press conferences, but some of these were like the weird panels that happen at Comic-Con, where it's like, we're going to talk about 30 years of Resident Evil, but it was labeled a Capcom press conference, or stuff like that, or whatever happened at Take-Two. That thing, I don't even know what that was.
I feel sorry for the people who like researched all their information for the Take-Two panel, because E3 did not do a good job of diverging it from anything. They're just like, hey, Take-Two's doing a thing, and you tune in and go, this is not what I expected.
This is an HR meeting.
It was an HR meeting.
It was a Zoom meeting, and everybody had like white walls behind them. It was the most uninteresting thing to look at. And I know it's supposed to be like a panel and everything, but it wasn't listed as a panel.
They do this because, like, there's that one person that's going to be, like, looking in the background. Like, they couldn't have had anything, not a cool, like, toy shelf or anything, because if they did that, somebody's going to, like, look in the background and they feel like that's going to
Game announcements are in the
Exactly.
background.
They're like, oh, this isn't boring. This is actually just a sneaky announcement for something I'm really excited about.
Like, somewhere in the background, there's, like, one Grand Theft Auto postal, and they're like, oh, it's coming! My favorite thing
It's
was...
never coming.
Trevor's coming to Smash.
We're going to... We should have just done a show where we just gave fake E3 news. Where we just fed everybody with the way this year was. We probably could have got away with
It's
it.
like that Canadian Walmart Twitter page.
Yes. But I will say this. I felt bad for the people on there. They had a lot of researched and well thought out points that they were talking about and trying to do. And it was just, first of all, the live chat on this thing was a nightmare. But also, it was just like massive amounts of people being like, where the fuck are the games?
Video games are dead was something I saw in the comments a million times. Unironically, mind you.
Well, my favorite
I don't
thing
know
was,
why I indulged in there, but I think I lost like 100 brain cells.
Yeah. And the sad thing was, and we're not going to
Dwell on it
we're
too
not going
much,
to dwell on this, but the sad thing was, I too tuned in and went, wow, what was the video games? But I didn't want to even like say that, because there was so many other people that have really bad opinions that were yelling, well, the video games at. But that one was just, you feel like somebody in the HR department was like, we should do this really thought out meeting in front of the internet. I'm sure it's going to go really smooth. It was just it was such a dumb decision.
And it came immediately after Verizon's whole thing, which I'm sure Verizon has an E3 budget every year to be like, look at the show floor. Look how 5G does with cloud streaming games.
It's like
awesome.
NOS. Like NOS is like notoriously always on the show floor.
But at least NOS didn't book stream time.
Also, what happens if they did, though?
That'd probably be better than what happened here. The highlight for me was something I just found hilarious. So they did a cool thing. It was like, we're giving $1 million scholarship to women who want to be in the game industry because it's really hard for women to step up in the games industry. And we're partnering with our friends at Riot Games to make this happen.
You sit that
Riot Games, as some of you may know, got in a lot of trouble over the past 2 to 3 years about massive sexual harassment lawsuits and just a total like toxic culture workplace environment. So I was thinking, is this a court mandated thing or something?
Community service.
Right. Like the Riot Games CEO comes out there and be like, as per my agreements, I'm glad to be here with Verizon.
They had one of the like lead developers of Valorant come out there, and like she was very much into like the presentation. Everything was like, you didn't have to say the word Riot Games. You just said we're teaming up with Valorant to do this or something. Because the way Riot Games was like, I was thinking, oh no, this is the most tone deaf thing you
feel
could
like
ever do.
Nobody in the HR department did a Google search before this deal. No, like, yeah, Valorant would have been like, hey, Valorant sponsors this, and there would have been people in the know who would have been like, wait, Valorant by Riot Games, but like it would have cut down on the name recognition of like, hey, this games company that has been in the news a lot recently for having some really heinous stuff, they're the ones sponsoring this attempt to get more women in the gaming industry. Just in closing on both of those and the Take-Two thing, it's just neither of those needed to be associated with E3. And that's the only problem with them. Like, nothing's like wrong with it. It's just you shouldn't have put it in the E3 lineup.
That's a show. That's something you have at the actual. But Jeff Gersman on like the breakdown made a good point of why these streams existed. They want to front the money so that when E3 does come out as a in-person show next year, they can be like, "Who fronted you the money when you were all digital show? Us. Can you give us premium booth space?" It was probably something like that.
Somewhere Verizon next year is going to be like right there as you enter the floor. like the first thing you see when you walk into
Verizon
E3.
presents the Entertainment Electronics Expo.
I would go to the Verizon Presents E3 Electronic Gaming. Also, I like calling E3 Electronic Gaming Expo.
It's experience now. It's not.
Oh, really?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, moving
That's a thing
on.
of the
Okay.
past.
Let's actually do what we came here to do and talk about some damn video games.
So the first announcement
That
of
Tiny Tina game.
Summer Game. So, yes, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is a Borderlands spin-off with Dungeons and Dragons, like that DLC.
Okay, like, didn't they already do a DLC based around Dungeons and Dragons?
So
Yes.
this is a spin-off based on that DLC.
Okay, so they were literally the DLC. Was the DLC that well received? Like, I am out of Borderlands.
The way they described it was the voice actors and the developers, we really loved making this. We really loved that DLC, so we wanted to do something. So
what
it
for-
seemed like a passion project.
From what I understand, everybody fucking hates Tiny Tina.
I think there was a Tiny Tina. Okay, like Tiny Tina had a moment, like in Borderlands 2,
Sure.
where like people were like, "Haha, this character's kind of funny," and then they just proceeded, like Borderlands games do,
Yeah.
proceeded to just beat that meme into the ground. And
Are
like,
you implying Gearbox does not have a sense of what the people want?
we're gonna jump to Gearbox?
No, it's not yet.
But like Borderlands, Borderlands has this thing where literally they're like, "Hey, remember that meme for 3 years ago? Let's put it in like 4 missions in our game because the 4th time is just as funny as the first." So you just feel like there's
You talking about
somebody
Shooty McShootface?
Shooty
Because that guy's a
McShoot.
staple of that genre.
He makes multiple appearances in
I
those
mean-
games. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, boy, we're starting E3 off with a bang here, aren't we?
and then the real like get Michael excited game came next. Metal Slug Tactics.
I actually was really excited. I love the look of Metal Slug. I am terrible at those games, much like Contra. Like I love Contra games like in theory, but then when I play them, I'm just so damn frustrated I can't enjoy it. So this looks like a Metal Slug for my old man hands.
Yeah, exactly. I can appreciate the cool art and the cool character designs, but I can pause the action and take my time with this.
It's a pretty looking game, and that was the first game actually. I want to say that's the first game on. No, actually, it's not. It's the second game on my list, but we'll talk about the other one in a little bit.
Okay.
But that's on there. That I really like that. That Metal Slug looks cool.
Then Hideo Kojima appeared and made a lot of references to 9/11.
For a second, when you put in the Discord that Hideo Kojima is on here talking about 9/11, and for a second, I thought to myself, Hideo Kojima's making a 9/11 game, isn't he? Like, I just thought for 1 second, because if you kind of told me that in the year 2021, that Hideo Kojima, now that he's on his own, he can do whatever he wants.
He had a good point about his 9/11
Wait a
reference.
second.
Wait, hold on. No. Let me refer. He said developing a game during the pandemic and everything kind of reshaped his thought of how he developed games, like how it was after 9/11. That's a good point to make, but he made that point like 3 times in the span of like 2 minutes, and you're just like,
You think that's like a translation thing where maybe
it might be, but
like maybe he's like beating the point down because he's not sure if it's coming across. Like if I speak one language and I don't even speak it well, but I would feel like I would be more likely to want to like really clarify my point to somebody if I was,
Speaking
worried
a
about
different
something that's being translated.
that's true. Yeah, there is a degree of translation there.
Yeah, so that maybe I don't do this often, but I'm gonna give Hideo Kojima the benefit of the doubt here and just say he was trying to be very, cautious.
That's true. And then he showed off like Death Stranding director's cut.
I thought the first game was the director's cut.
That's the joke everyone makes.
Yeah, but like,
Everyone thinks they're smart. Like, no, but everyone thinks they're clever. I made that joke too. I was like, it wasn't the first game. Then you go on Twitter, and that's
But,
everyone
like,
making that
that
joke.
was his-
But it's a good point, though. Makes sense.
wasn't like I know that's like the obvious joke, but wasn't like that's what he was talking about when he announced that game. He released it. He was like, "This
What-
is me doing whatever I want."
What if
so
it's
by
streamlined,
definition,
and that's like that's like, hey, I went too big. I need to broaden and focus this thing.
Michael, you are a Metal Gear fan.
Yes, I am a Metal
Do
Gear
you
fan.
think Hideo Kojima thinks to himself, we should be more focused?
That's a fair point.
How long is that last cutscene in Metal Gear Solid 4?
Metal Gear Solid 4 has a 74-minute cutscene.
Yeah. If we ever do Metal Gear Solid 4 for the show,
we're going to do Metal Gear Solid 4.
There's going to have to be...
I will buy Nick a PS3, and we're going to play Metal Gear Solid 4.
All right.
There's going to have to be a whole episode of this show dedicated to that single freaking cutscene.
I already know how I'm going to divvy that out.
Okay, let's keep moving.
All right.
Dadgummit.
Goldblum appeared and announced Jurassic World Evolution 2.
Cool. Let's move
That's
on.
kind of sad.
There was a bunch of updates to like live service games. Warzone has a 4th season.
Jackal was here. I just
Ryan
downloaded
Reynolds.
Warzone.
Ryan Reynolds was there to promote his movie, and he made an Elden Ring joke.
Let's pause for a second. You downloaded Warzone?
I did. It was 250 gigabytes.
Okay, that's why my question was.
Yeah.
Because, like, I am on record saying that I would love to play that game.
No,
but
actually, I don't know if it's just a
have-
PC thing, but I just don't think you. I don't think you would, man.
Really?
I
Is
think
it
that,
bad?
like, yeah, I didn't have any fun. I'm not
Okay.
even trying to like bash it. I'm just like,
There was a time.
people are good at that game now. I think.
Well,
I
there was
think
a time
it
when, like, the
honestly
three of
gave
us
me like
enjoyed it.
it shook me to the core. Like I was just like, am I just bad at games now? It's just like everybody is just one shotting you every time. I'm not trying to, whatever. But
There was a time when the three of us were playing that. We were
Yeah.
having a damn good time doing it. So I hate to hear that, like, all of a sudden it's but that's kind of the way these things go.
Yeah.
Like, we get into things when they're early on, and then by the time that you come back to them, everyone else just never left.
yeah, I think that like just by default, having a 250 gig update is just like you're really just paring down. Like, who's gonna play this game? Who's gonna be the people to one shot you every match?
It's the people
Those
who
people
own
who are downloading those games.
It's the guys who only play that game because there's no other space on the hard drive for anything else.
But yeah,
Okay.
there's a story mode to Warzone now, or not a story mode, but they're like trying to give it like lore,
got,
which
like-
is what everybody who plays Call of Duty wants is lore.
Did you not remember the numbers thing? Man, they love lore.
That's the story. This is a multiplayer mode.
Okay, let's move on. Nobody's sitting here be like, I can't wait for State of the Save to talk about this new season of Warzone that only one of them played.
What's Jackal gonna do? That's what I want to know.
Okay, Michael, let's move on here.
Weezer was the thing. They played a song that wasn't bad.
Didn't they play Muzak or something?
Wait,
What?
can't we now play like Weezer on the podcast now?
They said that song in particular could be co-streamed and you would not get taken down.
Co-streamed.
So we can't. So okay, let's move on here. But if you opened up this podcast, and the first thing you heard was Weasel, you know that apparently we think we can get away with it. If you only heard it on the first day of the release, and then we disappear forever, we found out we can't get away with it. And who's Weasel signed to anyway? They Universal
I
Music?
thought they were their own thing. Like, I have a feeling they released so many albums. I feel like at that point you just own your own record label at that point.
Whatever. The guy from Weasel kicked my door in and dragged me off in the night. That's why the show's going.
Oh no, it's Rivers.
Oh no, really? Okay. Hit me up with something else. Let's get to some exciting stuff.
Yeah, all right. I'll skip a lot of this. There's little things here, but a lot of it at this point is service for live service games updates or some indie games I'll talk about later. But then the big announcement hits. Arguably one of the biggest announcements of this entire week.
Let's jump to it.
Yeah, we
Elden
already
Ring.
talked about Tiny
This, Elden Ring is a video game that is coming out in January, and it looks like this might be the first From Software game I jump in and try to play with everybody.
This is also the George R.R. Martin co-wrote.
They did a big interview. Miyazaki did a big interview with IGN, I think a couple of days ago, that broke down what Elden Ring is, and it sounds like a Legend of Zelda. As in, like, it's a big world with, like, 6 areas that have dungeons in it that have bosses to kill. And you do that, and then I think how it works is then you unlock, like, the next big zone that has, like, the final boss in it or something.
So it's like a hub area
So
kind of stuff.
you have 6 main areas that are linked together through a big hub area, and you can tackle them in any order. Austin Walker did a good stream where he pointed out the horse can double jump, so that has me in.
The From Software stuff, I enjoy those games, quote unquote. I am not good enough at those games to have ever completed one.
Exactly.
If I remember correctly, Nick, I believe you got farther along in like the Dark Souls and stuff than I ever did. Did you ever like get into those franchise? I know we played Dark Souls for a while, but
Yeah, I mean, I've never beaten one of those games, but I got a pretty decent chunk of the way through it. I just feel like, for me, I don't even know. I'm sure everybody feels this way, but there's like those games are just so stressful to me that it's just like, well, I just don't want to. I don't want to dread this entire walk up to this boss and then die and then have to dread it getting all the way back because I'm bad at the game.
no, well,
I'm very bad at Dark Souls. The only like Souls like from software game that I got really into was Sekiro, and I only got to the third boss on that before I hit a point where I'm like, I don't think I can get any further in this. But I really enjoyed my 10, 15 hours with Sekiro.
those games like when I was a younger man, I had less money and more time. Those are like great, like get a game for Christmas and that's your game for the next 5 months kind of game because you're willing to able to chop away at it and like learn every single detail about it. The older I've gotten, I mean, this is a joke that you see everywhere, so I'm not being like original. But I've got more money, less time, and so I play more games. But like games like that, which are more stressful, and I feel like we made this conversation on the last show about Bully, about Red Dead 2. I need to sit down with that thing and put like a solid afternoon into it. And I never feel like I can dedicate 4 hours into something now. So I have a hard time, but I respect the hell out of a video game that's like, we're not gonna make this game that you can beat it. We're gonna make this game so when you do complete it, it's a freaking accomplishment. We're not gonna just let you have an easy way through it.
Yeah.
Like I respect that. It's just not something for right now. My place in my life, I enjoy.
Yeah. I agree with you, but after reading that interview, I think it's really worth going into. He does mention that this is he said you can probably beat the game in around 30 hours. It's a lot more streamlined than a lot of Dark Souls games. It's more open, but it's not as long because, like he says, it's probably a good entry point into that style. It looks like battles are a lot bigger. Like you see you got your guy jumping and like slicing and taking down 3 dudes at once in that trailer. So if it holds true, this seems like something that I might really be into. And plus, there's like a soul capturing mechanic where I can capture the soul of an enemy and use that to fight alongside me. So I might be able to like make some of those like big battles, depending on how many I can use at once, something more manageable. So this seems like my type of From Software game. I'm really interested in checking that out.
I mean, listen, I hope it's awesome. I will. I'll give it a shot once I get close enough if I see that there's something there for me to grab onto. Some of the things you were talking about are things I've been hearing from people who are more into those franchises. Like Bloodborne was apparently more accessible and more of a little bit more, I hate to use the word streamlined, but maybe less vague or... those games, Dark Souls 2 were notoriously kind of like...
There's more of an onboarding with Bloodborne, I hear, in that it's more aggressive and not as defensive based. You can just charge in and get more...
And Sekiro, you played Sekiro.
I played Sekiro.
Is that like
Sekiro is all offense.
Okay.
And stealth, so you can just theoretically go and sneak your way to the biggest guy, stab him, and then he's just done. And you can also sneak up on bosses and knock one of their health bars down.
That's cool.
So there were ways of circumventing that difficulty, and again, until I hit a wall into a point where it was a boss with a cutscene. So I was like, you can't do that. You can't sneak up on the boss when he has a cutscene. So, yeah, that kind of...
Cutscenes. The perfect way to cover your back in a video game is to have a cutscene.
But I did beat Madam Butterfly, and that is one of the most satisfying boss kills I've ever done in a game. So I've had my fun with Sekiro. I want to go back to Sekiro at some point, maybe. If Elden Ring is so good, that might just be my FromSoft game. We'll see.
Real quick, my one Dark Souls story. I beat this gigantic dragon in Dark Souls with a really weak club, and it took me like an hour and a half. And my co-host sitting to the right of me probably doesn't remember this, but the whole time just kept telling me, you should just go ahead and die. This is taking forever. Because every time I hit him, he went down like a percentage of a point. And it took like an hour and a half. I eventually beat that thing on the first try. I'm very, very proud of myself. But boy, it was not worth the time I invested.
There's a dragon in this Elden Ring trailer, and he has 4 wings and holds a red bolt of lightning.
Cool.
So, yeah.
All right, so Elden Ring is kind of, I guess, our first big announcement.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, 24 minutes into this show, first big announcement.
Well, we're going to skip a lot of it because there's no other real big conferences up until you get to the main E3 show. So there's some, like, Guerrilla Collective, Koch, Primetime, whatever.
We're just going to let's just skip over some of those.
Yeah.
And we can talk about some of those in, like, the indie section.
Exactly. So the next big conference is the Ubisoft Forward.
Which, I guess I'll talk a little bit about Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six, not Quarantine.
Yeah, I saw that. That should be a game right up my alley because I love Siege.
You love Siege and you love Left 4 Dead. It seems like
But it doesn't appeal to me, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about the Outbreak event for Rainbow Six was like something that really, really like the community was super into. I played, I think, 1 or 2 rounds of it. I thought it was okay.
Is that what this game is? It's just that mode?
I think it kind of is it's basically like, hey, you guys loved Outbreak. Here's, that entire event just as a forward thing. I watched some footage of it today where they released some, like, gameplay footage of it. It's not what I want from Siege. I would have rather them announce, like, hey, we're going to do a straight-up proper Rainbow Six Siege 2. But I don't think that's ever going to happen because that game has become a full-on, like, that's a Dota-level esport now.
Pretty much. And they announced updates for next year at this point, saying, oh, we're finally getting cross-progression and cross-play for consoles next year.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a thing for 10 years at this point.
That was a big controversy at one point in the Siege community when they did a season that didn't have new operators. And it was like the season where this season we focus entirely on bug fixes and exploits. And it was like a big controversy. But then there was like people defending it like, yeah, we need to stop letting people like get inside the washing machine on house. Like, which
That's
was
just a valid strategy.
No, it made you impossible to hit. But it also allowed you to contest. It was a problem. But long story short, that thing dropped. I was like, oh crap, new Rainbow Six, and it was a dud for me. Also, at that point, I'd seen Back 4 Blood like a million times, so anything that reminded me at all of anything related to that just made me turned off. Because Back 4 Blood is a game that if I see one more damn trailer or gameplay footage peak of it, for the love of God, I'm gonna play it. Just I don't give a shit about your press
This was the E3 of 4-player co-op shooters because there was a ton of them. A lot of them come to Game Pass. So
which I'm okay with that because then I'll have to, I'll try them if they're good. Then I'll stick with them. If they're bad, I'll ditch them.
Exactly.
What else has happened at Ubisoft other than a bunch of DLC stuff?
I'll fly through some of these. Rocksmith is coming back. That's cool. That's a cool way to.
Is it?
I'd rather have Guitar Hero.
Apparently, that's a really cool music like learning tool. If you have like a basic knowledge, it's a cool way to like learn songs and.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with you. Guitar Hero should come back.
No, like I would say this, and this is not a stupid thing. Like when Guitar Hero came out, we were all really, really into Guitar Hero. And I think I credit Guitar Hero for making me want to learn to play an instrument.
Me too.
Yeah, I think because we played Guitar Hero 2, 3, Rock Band. Like those games were pretty much all we played for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I started to play an instrument because I got into those games. And Nick, you got into playing an instrument around that same time too.
Yeah.
So like the whole concept of like we're going to teach you how to play a real guitar in a video game never appealed to me. Because the thing about Guitar Hero is, like, Guitar Hero gave you just enough of a feeling like you were playing a guitar.
It's the fantasy of it versus
exactly.
the reality
And then
of
when
it.
you went, you knew you were getting into something different when you actually picked up a real instrument. Mm-hmm. So it's like you knew that you weren't going to, like, pick, well, you should have known. That you can't just pick up a guitar and play Run to the Hills. But it was the whole concept of like, oh, I sort of kind of know what it feels like to play a guitar, so maybe I'll go try to learn how to play a guitar. So I'm into like, I want more music games. Mm-hmm. I still have my Guitar Hero 2 controller around here somewhere. But when I saw Rocksmith, I was like, I have no.
It's cool for the people who would.
Yeah, but it was another like.
It's a gateway for people to learn music, and I think that's cool.
This is the thing you plug an actual guitar into an Xbox.
Yeah. This came out. The first one came out. And they announced
that now you can. There's bass compatibility with this one and acoustic guitar compatibility with this one. Okay. Not like an acoustic bass. You use like your phone and it plays it. I don't know how the input lag would be. So they're branching out besides just electric guitar and using like more instruments. And I think using this as like a music tool, I think it's a cool idea.
No, I mean I'm not.
I'm not the market for this, but for someone who's like, I don't know how I can get into like an instrument at this time, but I really like video games. That's a cool like starting. Well, you pick up my dad's acoustic guitar and try something out. There's a beta and a trial to see if it's like your thing too. So
no, I mean I'm not like anti this. I saw it. It was just Rocksmith kind of came out at the tail end of all like fascination with those kind of games.
By the time Rocksmith came out, I was playing a guitar.
Yes.
So, that might just be like a personal thing, but I feel like if you liked Guitar Hero enough because you thought it made you feel like a rock star, you probably just went out and bought a First Attack guitar.
Yeah, and tried to fiddle around with that or whatever. Or you bought a bass like a cool person.
Yeah,
sure.
Thank you, man.
Team bass.
Appreciate it. No, let's go down the list here. What else was at that conference? Because I'm gonna get it. Yeah. I'm gonna announce the Gearbox conference.
Riders Republic looks awesome, actually. It is like a steep, but like they seem to. There's a lot more. I don't know. I don't think it's the same developers as Steep. There's a lot more like sports. Like it's like there's skateboarding, there's snowboarding, there's hand gliding, there's biking. There's a whole bunch of. They need all of them to feel good in order for this to work. But I like the concept of it a lot. Like let's just take a Forza Horizon style thing, but make it like extreme sports.
I'm excited.
Seems like something.
Extreme sports being because at the Xbox conference there was also a really cool snowboarding game that they showed off.
Yeah,
I'm excited about the idea that extreme sports are coming back as a video game thing. Because like when I got into video games around like the Tony Hawk and stuff, and like there was all the BMX games, there was a bunch of like extreme sports games. So like if you can come out and make some really cool snowboarding games and stuff, I'm okay with that.
There's gonna be a beta. I'm gonna check that out to see how it plays. There's a new operator for Siege.
Yeah, we just skip on over all that stuff.
Just Dance, Assassin's Creed's getting updates. They did a lot of live service announcements. Far Cry 6.
I don't care about the Far Cry franchise anymore.
They're doing a villain DLC where you can play as Voss and the villain. They're like, people love the villains of Far Cry. Here's a DLC where you can play as those villains.
I feel like
and also the remastering Blood Dragon.
Which, I mean, you had a good point. I think Jeff Garsman said, like, so many people have went on and done the cyberpunk 80s kind of stuff now that it's not like if I played Blood Dragon like a couple of years ago for the first time, and it was like kind of a letdown because everyone was all high on it when it came out, and then you just realize that at the point that we're at now, so many people have done that better that it feels weird to go back and play the original thing.
I played it when it came out. I was like, cool, a Terminator 2 reference. And we live in a world now where you can literally play as the Terminator in Mortal Kombat in several games at this point. Yeah. So it was like, having a shotgun called the Gallery in 1991 is awesome, but
it's just not. It
doesn't hit the same. Everybody who wanted that has already played it. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Okay, cool. I liked the first Mario and Rabbids game a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was a little long in the tooth. It went on for a very long time, but it looks like they're going for instead of like an XCOM tactic style, they look like they're going for a like Japanese style. I saw someone compare it to like Valkyria Chronicles.
Okay.
In a way of like combat where you have like this area that you can walk around in and do an action.
Okay,
like,
I mean,
you can walk around this whole like little zone, do your action, and then get to a point you don't have to like shoot behind cover, 50% chance to hit and stuff.
Okay, I don't, those games aren't for me. I'm glad that those games exist. It's weird that the Rabbids are a thing. Like they make like Happy Meal toys of them and stuff. Like they're popular apparently.
Oh, they're huge in France, especially.
Oh, really? They're like are they
humongous.
are they the minions?
They are the
pretty
minions.
much. I had they're better than the minions. Let's be real.
I mean,
they're
I'm not gonna sit here and
actually fun.
argue
This is not an argument I expected to have today, but yeah.
Is there anything else in the Ubisoft conference?
They said, all right, we're gonna show this game for the first off. It's been a while since we talked about it because they announced on like an investors call or something. They're like, this is the first time. I'm like, yes, it's Beyond Good and Evil's time to shine. It's an Avatar game.
Yeah, Avatar game.
Avatar.
I think
Everyone's favorite movie.
I think I'm the
That's
only.
not true.
Am I the only person on Earth who's never seen Avatar?
Evidently, it's like it was one of the highest grossing films, and like I have this argument with somebody I work with. I'm not lying, on a weekly basis, and he really likes Avatar, and that movie sucked, dude. I saw it in the
wouldn't go
theaters
that
because
far.
it was $1.
I had people like it came out with the 3D like Revolution thing, so a lot of people went to go see it because they're like, dude, 3D movies. I'm like, they've done that before. You had little red and blue glasses.
Spike is 3D.
Yeah, Spike. Yeah, but or go to like Carowinds or Disney World or whatever. But I saw that release and I was like, I do not care about Avatar.
I should have known it wouldn't be Beyond Good and Evil. A part of me still clinging for hope. Maybe one day we'll get that game.
It.
I know. We're not getting Beyond Good and Evil 2. I know this.
Is it time for me to talk about Gearbox?
It's time for you to talk about Gearbox.
All right. So, I'm sitting there watching the press conferences because I'm a good video game host and I'm going to be educated and informed. And I'm like, oh boy, Gearbox is showing up. Maybe this is their year. They're going to announce a new Brothers in Arms, maybe. I love that franchise or whatever.
They own that franchise?
Yeah, I'm going to say that Gearbox. That's Gearbox.
Okay.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't care. Let's get to the point. Then, here's Randy Pitchford. You know Randy Pitchford. Lots of stories about Randy Pitchford. Really
I ran into him at a medieval time.
You probably ran into him in the medieval times.
I did not run right.
Are you aware of this story?
No.
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 Okay.
He left a.
I know there's a flash drive.
He left a flash drive with a bunch of porn on it at a medieval times.
It was a magic trick, Eric.
He was
That's the only other thing I know about Randy Pitchford is the magic.
No, but his defense was when people found it and they looked at the porn that was on there, he was into it because he wanted to learn how she did what she did in the video.
It was like magic.
It was like magic. He's into it as a fellow magician. But
I respect that.
The only thing that blew my mind is he left it at medieval times.
What's wrong with medieval times?
Why you bringing that to medieval times?
You gotta keep that thing on you, bro.
It wasn't only that; it had like Gearbox like work files on
Yeah,
it from like unreleased games.
It was intermixed with all like legit business stuff. But all that aside, it's just like it felt like 45 minutes. It must have been probably like 15 of them just at the Borderlands set in, I guess,
of
Dubai.
The movie. Yeah.
Of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
But then they wasn't actually showing anything. Like, they were talking to, like, let's go talk to the costumes department. Hey, are you excited to walk on Borderlands? Yeah, I'm excited. But, like, they didn't show any, like, not, at one point I'm like, okay, maybe, like, I'm not excited for the Borderlands movie. But if I was at this thing, I was like, okay, surely they're going to, like, here's the first look at what, name a Borderlands character looks like.
A claptrap.
That bird.
Whatever, No, there's none of that. There's even at one point a person in costume walks by and they blur it out. So you can't even have like one interesting Easter egg. It's just him standing in a big empty room talking to people in Dubai.
It's just an hour-long Randy Pitchford at Craft Services.
Yes. But then they do this cut and they're like, the Homeland or Homeland or
Homeworld 3.
Homeworld 3. Homeworld franchise is a classic RTS franchise, and we are so excited to be working on Homeworld 3. And then it cuts back to Randy Pitchford. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. That's weird. Randy Pitchford walks around a little bit more. Then it cuts back and it goes, we here at the Gearbox are so excited to be working on Homeworld 3. And
I thought the stream went back.
Yes, I thought my stream skipped. Back. And I checked again, and they did this like 6 times. They kept cutting
from Randy Pitchford walking around craft services to like a random guy saying like 2 sentences about working on Homeworld 3.
Are they different sentences? Like,
Yeah,
sort
very
of.
vaguely different.
Like, it's different as if I said, like, I am very excited to work on Homeworld 3. And then they cut back to me and, like, we here at Gearbox are very excited to work. That's all they would. And they showed, like, a half a thing of, like, concept art. It was really weird. Then, my favorite article that came out of this was about, what was it, Godhead?
Godfall, yeah.
Godfall. They announced that Godfall, a PS5 release, is now coming to PS4. And to sum this thing up, I'm not even going to talk about this thing because who cares? Kotaku wrote an article with the best headline I've ever read. They said, Godfall, a game no one cared about when it came out on the PlayStation 5, is now coming to PlayStation 4. And, like, it's in the front page. And, like, the sad thing is I'm watching this and, like, I didn't even know what Godfall was. Like, and this guy's like, we are so excited that we'll come into PlayStation 4. And I'm thinking that maybe this is an older game that came, like on the PlayStation 3 or something. And then I read that article. I'm like, oh, crap. They're announcing that they're coming to an older console, just desperately trying to get somebody to care.
Everyone's announcing PS5 upgrades, not Gearbox. No. We're getting a PS4
There's a
downgrade.
PS4 game. But that Kotaku article blew my mind.
And
Hard
then-
Drive Mag read that and was like, fuck.
Then they showed the Wonderlands trailer, and here's the thing: it's the exact same trailer they showed at SGF. The exact same one.
And then finally they showed some more about that Tiny Tina D&D thing, but they
Most
just showed,
anticipated game of 2022.
but they just showed the same footage that they showed before.
Yeah.
And they just said, we're so excited to be working on this game. And then it cut back to Reggie Pitchford, who acted like he did not know the camera was going to be on.
Was he doing magic?
No. It would have been better.
Sleight of hand.
If Gearbox's press conference...
Banging on Kevin Hart's door
Yeah.
because that's our big celebrity cameo.
Pick a card.
And like every time he popped up, he acted like he did not know the camera was going to be on. But it was. I sent a message to Michael saying I'm tapping out, and then 10 minutes later I'm like I'm tapping out, but I just couldn't for the life of me look away because I'm like, why is Randy Pitchford just? He's not even on a set. Like they couldn't even stick him outside. Like Dubai has a massive desert around it. He could have been standing in the desert like. Check it out. This is where we'll film in Borderlands. No, he's just inside of what looks like a gigantic tent, talking to people standing around little white like picnic tables. It was the weirdest thing. It was a waste of time. At this point, I'm like, fuck E3. I don't give a shit anymore. We're not even doing a show on this. But much to the salvation, the next day, we actually had video games shown. So we're going to jump to the next
light
conference.
shines and Phil Spencer
Phil
and Todd
Spencer.
Howard emerge from the darkness.
They literally started off. I'm jumping into this. I'm not taking
yeah.
a bit. But the next day, Xbox announces their show. And I'm sitting here recording the Bully episode with Michael. And we go to watch it right after that. And I go, boy, this got to be the moment, make or break for Microsoft. Do I buy an Xbox? Do I buy a PlayStation? They start off with Todd Howard. And he's talking about... Michael? Starfield. And they actually showed a concept trailer. Starfield, I think.
Supposedly.
Yeah, in-engine, apparently. So this would be our second big release. I would say, this is probably the second big show of the show. Starfield, we got an actual concept trailer. Got a little bit of talk about it from Todd Howard. Xbox exclusive, and it's coming out in 2022, correct?
11/11/22.
Yes.
Evoking that Skyrim 11/11 date.
Yeah, so they're straight up. There's not much to talk about because it was just a little teaser trailer.
Next gen only.
Next gen only, which I'm hoping that's a good thing. I'm hoping that means that they're really going to do some like
The Creation Engine 2, they're really pushing.
They're
like,
really
this is it.
pushing. I was amazed of how grounded it looked. Like it wasn't like
Hard
Mass,
sci-fi,
it wasn't like Mass Effect ships or anything. It looked like if you've seen the movie The Martian.
It reminded me of Interstellar a little bit.
Yeah,
too.
or Interstellar. Like the space suits look kind of like actual space suits. It was a lot harder sci-fi than I thought this game was going to be.
I was expecting like a tinge of like fantasy elements.
I thought
too.
this was going to be like Star Trek, or something like that. And instead we got like, oh no, you actually have spacesuits and gravity and stuff like that. That actually made me more excited than what I thought I was going to be for this game. It's weird that like they straight up are like Bethesda is front and center like we started the conference with Bethesda.
There's a reason they called this Xbox and Bethesda showcase, because literally half of this was Bethesda.
Yeah. Michael, give us the run. Let's talk about this. We're getting into conferences now. I feel like this one, the Nintendo conference.
Oh yeah.
These are like they got some actual stuff we can talk about.
Stalker 2 is next. That looks like an Eric video game if I've ever seen an Eric video game.
I like the Metro franchise a lot. Mm-hmm. I really liked. They showed a lot of gameplay footage.
They really did.
It looks really good. It looks
I like the bit where you have like these bolts and you're throwing them to find like rifts in like the environment.
There's a portion in which you're walking across a field using like a reader to tell about radiation because it takes place in Chernobyl, and you're throwing little bolts into the air to hit rifts. So it's like little like temporal rifts in reality. So it's like you're guiding yourself across the field by throwing bolts.
It's like that bit in Thor: The Dark World, but better.
Yeah, like good. But it was a really cool gameplay footage. The shooting looked cool. I'm a sucker for shooters that have horror elements. So I dug it. Stalker 2 was not a game I would have thought that I'd be interested in at all in this. But boy, it came out swinging. Also, we're going to talk. There's a lot of indie games and Game Pass stuff that they talked about in this whole thing.
Hades is coming.
Yeah, Hades is coming to Game Pass. Mm-hmm. We'll kind of talk. We'll save some of those indies for our last indie extravaganza. One thing I do want to talk about. They showed Battlefield 2042.
It was a better trailer than EA showed a week ago.
Well, it was actual gameplay footage. The Battlefield trailer. Okay, because. This is just me because I'm a shooter guy. I'm a Battlefield fan. The Battlefield footage actually kind of pushed me to getting into next gen more than anything because I was like, I cannot not be able to run this game because it's coming to current consoles. But the only thing I kept seeing is one, it's 120 player online multiplayer.
120 players. They had aerial battles, ground battles, and like battles on the side of skyscrapers, all while a tornado is happening. And I was like, "This looks amazing! I want to play this."
And the only thing I kept thinking of is this is going to chug on current consoles. So I was like, "Okay, it's time to upgrade because I cannot have this chug." Because especially for a multiplayer game, I'm not gonna die because my game's chugging because the tornado's killing my frame rate. But this was really, really cool. It was one of my top 5 from the conference and from the show itself. Battlefield is a franchise that desperately needs to have a kind of a rating course after the last one. The last game was not bad. It was just it was underwhelming, especially coming off of what I thought was a really, really solid entry in Battlefield 1. This looks really cool. Mm-hmm. I'm all for a multiplayer only. Don't waste my time with single player for a Battlefield game. This was one of my favorite things of the show, and I don't think anybody else at this table was going to be like, "Fuck yeah, Battlefield, man!" But like for me, I was so damn. Michael was sitting there beside me. I was like, "Holy shit! You can change weapon attachments on the fly. You can take." Like it looked almost like it had some like Respawn style multiplayer design because those zip lines and stuff that go between the skyscrapers, so people were jumping using zip lines to go across skyscrapers and using wingsuits around the tornado, so you can jump in, use your wingsuit, and use the tornado to get momentum.
Oh, wow,
that's awesome. It's fully embracing the insanity of Battlefield. It doesn't even look like there's factions anymore. It's just army guys fighting army guys. It's like you took your little toys and you're just fighting in the floor, which is fine with me. I don't care about
that bit where it showed 3 tanks together just rolling up, destroying freeway.
Yeah, it was cool.
It does.
Battlefield was exciting for me. I was really pumped for it. What's some other big releases that we got to see?
The Just Cause studio, they had a concept trailer, but I really liked it. It was for a game called Contraband. Which was like a heist game that had a really cool 1970s vibe where the music they were playing was Carlos Santana, and you're like, I can vibe with this.
It was. I am interested in the game. We don't
know anything.
We got nothing. We don't know if it's. I'm assuming it's I think it did say it was a co-op game.
Yeah, it says co-op. According to this IGN article, co-op Smuggler's Paradise set in the fictional world of 1970s buy-in. I don't know if that's the way to say that.
Well,
but,
We made a country so we don't accidentally make political statements that we don't want to make.
what was it? Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter pissed off Mexico because there was a bunch of stuff in Mexico and like the president.
It's all run by cartels.
Yeah, he was not very happy about it. No, like I'm excited because that studio does cool stuff, so I was happy with that.
and
for
it's day
a-
one Game Pass.
Listen to this segue. For a positive interpretation of Mexico, you can look at Forza Horizon 5, a game that looks so beautiful, YouTube won't show you how beautiful it looks because it kills the bitrate.
Yeah, they were showing the game. It's actually it was killing the bit rate. It looks gorgeous. I'm not a racing game guy, but those games, I don't blame Microsoft for always putting Forza as like a big tentpole because they look gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
And this game looked like a true next gen game. The lighting and some of the reflections, and it was amazing.
It does the thing every Forza does where it's like, oh, you're looking at a real car. No, it's the game. And it like,
Yeah.
pulls it off well.
It was
this
cool.
time, yeah.
I mean, racing games have notoriously... Gran Turismo used to be that for PlayStation, where they would, like, every time a new PlayStation came out, here's a Gran Turismo trailer. It's because you're intimately familiar with what these things look like, so therefore it's easy to be like, look how close it is to what you know. But it was really, really cool. I'm not a fan of the racing games, but it's a beautiful fucking game.
Pirates of the Caribbean content being added to Sea of Thieves in a way that was like, it's not just content, it's like a whole campaign with Jack Sparrow and like getting the Black Pearl back in a way that makes me go, we talked about it, I was like, do we want to play Sea of Thieves?
Like, people who... I was so amazed at
It's secretly one of the biggest games that a lot of people millions of people are playing, but I think it has like 30,000 concurrent players on like Steam at this point. So it's secretly one of the biggest games, just no one is talking about it. It's crazy.
It's cool though, like when I do meet people who play it, but it's usually people who play with a consistently
Like a set group
Yeah.
of friends. Yeah.
Like, this is our game. We meet every week to play this game.
like
Yeah.
I love playing video games with you two, but like we don't have the the schedule to be able to sit down every night and play a game together. So if you have that, Sea of Thieves seems to be a game that's so easy to make your own fun. Mm-hmm. But like this was the thing where like I was like, man, good for them to continue keeping this thing going. That's a big license to get. And if you're a Sea of Thieves person, I would love for you to write into stateofthesave@gmail.com and tell us like what about that game appeals to you, because it's something I looked at and I was like, this just doesn't seem like there's a lot here. But then
I
I
played
talked
that when it came out. It was very, very bare bones. Like, I played alone,
Yeah.
so that's probably why.
But people, I meet people who play it, and they're just like, "Oh, dude, I love Sea of Thieves," and it's like it's their game, and like it's cool. But then they tell me stories, and all their stories are we made our own fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but at the same time, I can't be mad at a game for making it
If
easy
a
to make your own fun.
sandbox can make you make your own fun, that's the whole entire point of like a sandbox. So it's doing its thing.
Yeah, that's
Right.
why people play Grand Theft Auto Online. No one's
Exactly.
caring about the missions there. They just want to make their own fun, have a good time.
Exactly. Psychonauts 2 is coming in August to Game Pass.
We talked about maybe one day doing Psychonauts
Like one
for the show
Yeah.
or something, because it's a cool looking game. Psychonauts 2 looked really, really cool.
really
It's
big
gonna-
cult classic, which is our bread and butter.
Yeah, yeah.
It might secretly be like a Grim Fandango and actually be like an episode down. Like, why is this doing so well?
Psychonauts 2 looked really cool. It's on Game Pass. I'll probably give it a shot.
Yakuza Like a Dragon is on Game Pass at this very moment, and I'm trying not to get sucked into another 100-hour JRPG right now. So
Oh, it's downloading right now.
It's sitting. It's on the hard drive with like the 40 other games I haven't
Yeah.
gotten the chance to play yet. But damn, I'm excited to try. I will say this, and this is just a spoiler alert for my general like final thoughts on E3. Game Pass is a must-own service.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that's not me being like, yeah, Xbox, because I don't give a crap. I play video games or whatever is cool to play video games on. But the Game Pass, I would love to see. I want to see a Sony and a Microsoft and a Nintendo all have Game Passes, because
yeah.
like this is the way to get people into games that they would never play. I mean, I can't tell you how many games I love now that I would have never bought if it wasn't for the fact that it was on Game Pass, and I was just like, what the hell?
The Messenger was something we all
Yeah.
came up loving that I don't think any of us would have like bought unless it was like on a sale on Switch, which is leaving at the end of this month. So
Yeah.
if you haven't played The Messenger, play The Messenger.
But
It's so good.
and also, if you don't have Game Pass, it is worth buying the Messenger.
would
The
agree
Messenger
with that
is
as
true.
well.
So yeah,
It's a great video game.
Atomic Heart. That was that Bioshocky Fallout thing.
It was weird. I want to see more of it.
Exactly.
It looked cool, but I want to see more of it.
Replace was a game you really liked. That was that like 2D like post-apocalyptic game with like that 3D backdrop.
I thought that looked awesome. That was the one that it's not. I wouldn't say it's like a cyberpunk.
It's a post-apocalypse.
Yeah,
thing
but it looked, dude.
with like with a lot of neon lights. So.
It was really cool looking.
Yeah,
The art
that's
style
sweet.
really appealed to me.
It reminds me of that game they showed off years ago, but never showed up again. The Last Night, I think, was what it was called, which was like a cyberpunk noir game.
Yeah, that thing's.
Yeah.
We need to play. I need to play that thing.
I think that's coming to Game Pass. 27 of the 30 games they showed, they said are coming to Game Pass.
I mean, that's a hell of a show.
That's
And
crazy, man.
And they end with another game coming to Game Pass, but it's a Nerf. Was it Arcane's game?
Yeah.
The Dishonored folk are making a 4-player co-op Left 4 Dead style game, except it's vampires, and you have like stake guns and stuff.
Like light guns, and
Yeah.
stake gun. It was very early on apparently.
it's just a concept trailer CG, but it sold
was
the
cool.
concept well. Yeah.
I like games that have characters that are instantly unique and fun. I'm a sucker.
We had
for
to show this because we can't show Deathloop at a Microsoft conference.
which, yeah. But I want to see more Deathloop too.
Deathloop's cool.
but,
it looks really good.
Can I jump in here and talk about a couple games real quick for
Absolutely,
myself?
yeah.
Halo. They showed off
Oh,
Halo.
yeah.
Showed off a shit ton of multiplayer.
People are into what was happening in that story, apparently.
I kind of fell off like the Halo lore around 5 maybe, or 4 and 5. 5 kind of killed it for me, I ain't gonna lie. I like Halo lore, but then 5 was like kind of killed it in that aspect. But multiplayer on this looks great. I really, really love the gameplay footage here. I love. They showed off some new weapons. They showed off some really large open environment maps, and particularly some like capture the flag maps and stuff like that. That was really good. I love little stuff like weapons interact with the explosions in the environment, so you can like blow up where the energy sword is located and make it reposition, and like it guns up in the air. They showed a guy grabbing it out of the air and then hitting people. You have grappling hooks. I'm all for all shooters have grappling hooks.
All games have grappling
All
hooks.
great.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm all for that. Me and you, Nick, we played a hell of a lot of Reach and Halo 3 and 4.
Reach was the only one I got into.
Reach
was a good multiplayer. Yep.
Yeah, so this is like your Battlefield for the show. This was my Battlefield for the show, man. Like I'm really excited to get into this game. From what it showed, it looks like the time that has been pushed back has been well spent. I'm hoping like if the gameplay is good and I get a Reach level of customization. I said that this in Discord, but that like if you can customize your avatar and your player for that that well and in depth, I'm down for it.
There was
Like,
lots
that
of
might be my free to play, or I guess Game Pass.
Well, it is free to play.
That's true. Yeah, the multiplayer will be,
is
huh?
free to play, so anybody can play Halo 6's multiplayer. Single player, I guess, will be Game Pass, but
Yeah.
You should have Game Pass. But the multiplayer is free to play, and dude, I really think they're gonna. I'm hoping they nail this. 343 is a studio that I think has always had like the best intentions with their games, and they've always had like just little things really get like the Master Chief Collection coming out, and just they could never get that thing right. Which it should have been like a softball pitch, but they just could never get it right. And then 5 coming out, and 5 being, let's say, divisive, I guess is the best way of putting it. I want them to hit this thing out of the park. Multiplayer looks great. Customization looks great. I really hope this knocks it out of the park, and it's coming soon. Like it's this year.
Holiday
They didn't show
2021.
any like gameplay for the story mode, so I imagine that's going to be like they're still under construction. Like if you pull it up, it's just like you didn't say the magic word.
I think, to be honest with you, I think it would have been a failure to try to come right back with single-player content. I think you got more people on board with showing off what they did
That's
than if
true,
you would have come back and tried to be like, see, we fixed the single player. Like, I think this
Because then that reminds people last year's.
Exactly.
Oh, you don't want to be like, hey, let's hook people in with the multiplayer, and then they'll play the single player and go, oh, this is cool.
Also, like, from my experience...
Let word of mouth do the talking.
Exactly. From my experience, also, there's so many damn people who play Halo who just never even touched the single player.
Yeah.
To me, like, you show some trailers, I think you always lead with the multiplayer when it comes to Halo.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. Also, Plague Tale 2 came out. Trailer showed off for the Plague's Tale. Number 2 came out. That first game is something that I've been staring at a lot on Game Pass. I was like, is this a game we could do for the show? The trailer looked fine. I'm excited that game did well enough to get a second.
Exactly,
game.
yeah. Good on them for making like a cult hit.
Yeah,
that really blew up in a way because
Seems
of Game
like
Pass.
people really, really dug it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Game Pass, I think, really pushed that game along. Anything I'm missing from the Microsoft conference that I'm not saying?
That was all the highlights for me. We're probably missing stuff, but if we're not remembering it, it didn't like resonate well with it. Oh, Diablo 2 remake was really good.
Yeah, Diablo 2 remake looks really cool. I like what I saw.
Good
that.
on the Tony Hawk guys for doing another cool remake.
And also, I want to say that's a Game Pass thing too.
I want to say that was the one that wasn't. One
Is
of the
it?
3 that wasn't. Because I was
That
like,
would make the most sense if it wasn't.
Yeah. Okay. You know, it makes sense. But
Activision Blizzard put it for free.
Yeah.
It's coming to Switch. It's weird.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
If it's on Game Pass, that'll be the system I
know.
play it on.
Yeah.
I actually think that would be pretty good for Switch. Actually.
It would be a
yeah.
fun game, but it seems strange.
Diablo 3 is
No.
on Switch too, so like, which one do I get at that point? 3 with all the content, or 2 with all the content? Which
2
is the
look
better
good.
Diablo? 2 does look good.
2 look good, like the remake. That like
Never play a Diablo. Now's my chance to play a Diablo.
yeah. I think I'll play it on Switch before. If it's not on Game Pass, I'll play it on Switch.
Now for the most divisive show in the E3, people were down on Square Enix.
I don't know why they didn't show a ton of games, but they showed some big old games, and I felt like they gave them plenty of time.
They ended with like the strangest thing, but we'll get to that. Get to that chaos in a little
Let's
bit.
talk about what was the bulk of the show for them, which was Guardians of the Galaxy's getting a video game.
That was
And
great.
There was a lot of like hate I saw on the backlash. The Guardians of the Galaxy game looked freaking great. Like,
It was like they were taking just enough from the gun movies, but still kind of having like its own identity. But
Yeah.
if that's the main way people know Guardians of the Galaxy, then that's
I mean,
kind of the template you have to use
Like,
in order for it to resonate with people.
like I'm also I'm a little bit biased. Dan Abnett is writing this.
Yeah, you were
game.
telling me he did the best run of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Dan Abnett, other than being the Warhammer guy, he's written.
That's why that name sounded familiar
Yeah,
to me.
he's written at least over 100 some novels for Warhammer. He's kind of the main force of Warhammer lore. He's created some of the most iconic characters in like Abraham Gaunt and Eisenhorn and stuff like that. But he also wrote one of the best Guardians of the Galaxy run. Probably the first, like, in my mind, legitimately great Guardians of the Galaxy run. Mm-hmm. He wrote a storyline called Annihilation, which came out around the time that Civil War came out and was the actual good event. Mm-hmm. So while everyone was talking about Civil War, there was Annihilation that was actually great.
Are you talking about Civil War 2?
No. It came out around the time that Civil War.
The original Civil War?
The original one came out. Yeah, there was a Civil War 2.
I was about to say, I thought people liked Civil War.
The movie.
It does not age well. The comic does.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
I read it a couple years back. It was all right.
That's
why I thought you were talking
alright.
about Civil War
It-
2.
it gets
Civil
old.
War 2 was not
Civil War
great.
was a piece of shit.
Civil War gets a lot of hate. It's not the best comic in the world, but like it's
It's fine,
So
but it's not as good as.
don't think about the implications of the characters and what
Right.
it has. Just
But
read it as like hey, they're fighting, cool.
long story short, I don't.
Comics is.
Kind of. Like, he wrote that run, and that's why I think you ended up getting a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, because Star-Lord and Groot and stuff like that, and Rocket, he put those characters together. He actually showed them as a team that functions, and he wrote a compelling enough narrative with them. I think you wouldn't have got a movie without Dan Abnett. He has some experience in writing video games. Just like I feel like him writing this is a good step. Mm-hmm. The gameplay looks pretty solid. You only play as Star-Lord, So that was my fear. I was like, is this going to be like a Marvel's Avengers problem where you play as like a bunch of different characters, but none of them really play super unique? You only play as Star-Lord in this.
That either can be get dull really fast, or B, have they really honed in on this one character. And there's a combo meter, and you can use like the other Guardians as assists you with like combos and like to do stuff in the background, like you're commanding people. There's a short interview with Game Informer where they talk about Mass Effect being an influence, which of course you have my interest piqued immediately. Because like another big part of this is playing a Star-Lord, you're kind of the decision maker for the group. Like they take group votes, and oftentimes they're in gridlock and you have to ultimately decide to vote. But the whole situation is like, how do we get money? Oh, we sell Groot to Lady Hellbringer.
She was a character I was not aware of.
We sell Groot to Lady Hellbringer. We break him out, and then she pays us. We break him out, and we take the money and run. And so you can say Rocket or Groot, who's the bigger like monster who she'll sell off. And so like I'm interested to see how those decisions like play out in like a narrative context, and how like linear or non-linear the structure of that game is.
The one thing I do give some people some valid criticism, there was a lot of criticism like this is James Gunn light, like the characters do not stop talking, and like but
their
like
super move has you putting on earphones and listening to like 70s 80s music,
yeah.
like Bad Reputation by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts starts playing, and you're like, I know what this is.
If you're gonna
I mean, it's a good.
Don't give a damn about my... Okay.
I Need a Hero was the song.
Yeah, I Need a Hero was the tray. But, like, I would make the argument that that's just those characters now. Like, that's just who Star-Lord is. Like, if you pick up a comic book now, the Star-Lord that was before the Guardians of the Galaxy movie was nothing like that character. He's just like that now. Like, the character was more successful in the movies than he ever was in the comics. And that character now is the guy who listens to 60s and 70s rock music on a cassette tape, and those characters all smart ass, comment. That's just who those characters are. If that doesn't appeal to you, that's just the way the character is now.
Yeah.
So I understand that it feels weird because he doesn't look like the characters don't match exactly what they look like in the movies or the comics, but that's just the way you have to be because I'm sure they don't have freaking Chris Pratt's likeness. I thought I was excited for this. I'm naturally cynical about superhero games right now because I think the Marvel's Avenger one really, like, I don't know how you dropped the ball so bad on an Avengers game.
That should have been the biggest hit of the year. That should have made all the money in the world.
Yeah, there's no reason I should have watched that trailer and been like, ugh. But like I came out of this being super excited, and also I'm excited because it comes out this year.
It does.
So it's a big release coming out this year.
The Deus Ex team too, so I'm very excited about how they can like play off of like decisions and like non-linear stuff because they've had a hand with those Deus Ex reboot games, which are both really solid.
So another big release, I think, for me 3, probably in my top 5 also.
Mm-hmm. Then they showed off the most baffling thing I've seen in E3. They're like, all right, Final Fantasy 1 through 6. They're getting, it's not the mobile versions, it is a kind of remix versions of the Super Nintendo versions, 1 through 6, and it's coming on Steam and mobile. It is not coming on the Switch. You have the Final Fantasy 6 not coming to the Switch. What is wrong with you?
Michael kicked the box. I've never seen Michael get mad enough to kick something. He stood up and kicked the box. And I went, ooh, Michael's legit mad.
Don't you have a phone, Michael?
Oh my god! Every once in a while, I go on YouTube. That like, there's a guy who is buried in the sand, and the waves come up and he yells "fuck off." That video and the video of the Diablo guys being like, "Don't you have a phone?" And then the guy who walks up, the hero, who if I ever met him, I would interview him on the show. Who just walks up and goes, "Is this a joke?" Like, I love that man. That man is one of my favorite people because you just see these two dead eyes of like, don't any of y'all have a phone? I watch those two videos way too much. Anytime I'm sad, I just watch the guy yell "fuck off" to the ocean, and I just watch that Diablo Cresco. That's baffling, Michael. I don't understand it. That would have been a perfect Switch release.
That will be on Switch one day, I hope, because Final Fantasy VI is a game I really want to play all the way through. That has an incredible opening sequence, and what is wrong with you? Anyway, the Nier Automata people's making Babylon's Fall for the PlayStation systems, and it looked cool. It was a weird trailer where you didn't hear any of the combat stuff. It was just operatic music. But
I don't feel like those games show well.
Then I find out, and then I found out later it's like a live service game, and so I'm like, we'll see. This is a we'll wait and see type of thing, because combat seems cool, and Nier Automata, one of my all-time favorite games. We'll see how this plays out.
Michael, I'm gonna go ahead and do something, because I know you bucking.
I'm bucking.
How about we skip and we get straight to the game that you want to talk about?
Chaos!
I'm putting a timer on you.
Okay.
Explain to me. Tell me about the chaos.
Well, a long time ago, a group of 3 guys with different colored hair rolled up on Chaos's doorstep and was like, I'm gonna kill Chaos.
I'm gonna kill the concept of chaos.
and then right away I was like, this seems like a stupid video game that I'm completely on board for. So a while back it was leaked that there was going to be this game called Final Fantasy Origin, which was like, the concept was the people who made Neo, like a really good Souls-like, is going to take inspiration from like Jedi Fallen Order and make a retelling of the first Final Fantasy, which had basically no story. And was like, okay, this is a cool way to bring like lore into this. And what we got was a guy saying, I'm gonna kill Chaos!
The concept of chaos.
And then you had a guy at the end who was like, I have become Chaos! And I'm like, this seems dumb, but in a way that I'm completely on board for. It looks like a PS2 game?
You kept saying,
let me talk about this game. This is not only Final Fantasy Origin, but they gave it the tagline, Stranger of Paradise. Final Fantasy Origin. So the game is baffling. Everything about this game is bafflingly stupid. And on top of that, they said, the demo is coming today to PlayStation 5. The demo was a corrupted file and no one could play it for a full day. This stupid video game.
It blows my mind that, one, my favorite line you said was that, quote, I want this to be so bad. I want, like, in the most genuine, excited way I've ever seen you, I just want this game to be so bad. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how I feel.
What I want is I want the writing to be hot garbage, but I want the gameplay to be good. I played the demo, and yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a Souls-like. It is from the people who made Neo. There's some really cool stuff where you can parry while you're blocking. So as like your meter's ticking down, you can like pull up your shield at the right time. So there's some really smart stuff. Also, I should mention that even though this is like a retelling of Final Fantasy 1, the dude's like wearing a t-shirt and jeans.
Even though in Final Fantasy,
and he headbutts Chaos.
Final
in the
Fantasy
face.
1 is like a very generic, like medieval, like those like wizard hats and stuff. And this guy's just wearing like he went down to the Hot Topic. I'm gonna go ahead and stop you here because we'll be talking about Chaos all night. But
Chaos reigns, apparently.
The excitement I saw in your face when that happened was great.
I'm the only one probably excited about this game because people who are actual Final Fantasy fans are like, what is this? And I'm like, I love this. Give me some weird jank insanity. So, yeah, okay, I'm done. I'm done. Okay.
So Square Enix was, I think, a okay conference. I think they showed off a few games. I don't know. Did you get a chance to look at that Guardians of the game? Did you?
No.
Okay. Like, I suggest looking it up because I think it would be something you would be interested in also. I feel like they did a fine job of like, here's some small amount of games. Let's really dig in to show plenty of it and go from there. Like Guardians got like a 40-minute freaking footage. And even like that game you were just talking about, the remake of Final Fantasy 1, got a pretty good amount of like time. Like they gave everything a pretty good amount of time. Next day, we went into... There was a couple of stinkers.
Well, that night we had Capcom, which was hey, we're making DLC for Resident Evil Village. By popular demand. Like, you weren't doing this.
They were going to do it
already.
They made like 6 DLC packs for Resident Evil 7. That's fine. That's great. I was amazed that I got gat because I was like, surely this is when the Resident Evil 4 remake gets shown off. Trailer, just show a trailer of like the woods and Leon Kennedy being like, where everybody going? Bingo.
You know, like the esports section where they're talking about Street Fighter 5 esports for about 10 minutes.
I tapped out so quick. It was like a panel at a Comic-Con. There's nothing to talk about.
The only thing they really showed in detail was like the great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which I was like, I'm not a big Ace Attorney guy. And then he showed off a character called Herlock Sholmes, and I am completely on board. Like, yeah, give me this video game. Herlock Sholmes.
Is it a lady version of Sherlock?
No, it's a dude. It's just Sherlock Holmes.
That
They
would've
name
been
him
better.
Herlock
That
Sholmes.
would have been better
I
if
get
it
what
was
you're saying.
Sherlock Holmes. There was just a lady version of Sherlock Holmes.
And they have a DLC like
This
that was
is-
a Japanese only game that's coming to America, and apparently they're devoting like an entire section of this game to Herlock Sholmes.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, cool.
Backed by
You-
popular demand.
You got me. Like, I'm sold on this. I'll play a Phoenix, right?
Let's move on to the next day. Like there was a kind of a down period here. Like I said, the Take-Two stuff was in here. The Capcom was kind of a letdown. I don't care anything about the Verizon conference. Is there anything that happened there, Michael?
No.
Because I didn't watch that.
No.
Because why would I?
An NFL player talked about 5G.
Right on. Who was the NFL
I
player?
don't remember.
It was a
They
Tom.
said a name, and I have no clue.
If it's not like Tom Brady, I
No.
don't give a shit. I just want to see Tom Brady be like, "Yo, guys, 5G is gonna be pretty cool."
Because you could do some like Madden cross promotion and stuff, but this was just like, I'm a football player. 5G good.
You know,
I don't know sports.
As a football player,
I
I
know-
know all about 5G.
I like hockey. That's
Yeah.
where the line draws.
Let's move on to, I guess the next one would it be Nintendo?
It would be Nintendo's
Okay.
next big one.
Let's talk about the
There's a
true
lot
excitement.
here.
There's a Nintendo, Microsoft. There was a meme I saw on Reddit of a car that was labeled E3 being pushed up a hill by two men, and it was Nintendo and Microsoft, because Nintendo and Microsoft came into E3 willing to throw their dicks on the table and be like, "Let's push this up the hill." I just want to talk about the big game first.
Mario Party.
Yay!
You fucking Dan Reichel over here.
I like Mario Party. It's fun.
It's a remake of like the Nintendo 64
Yeah,
boards
which,
too.
like, those are the first ones I played.
Yeah, exactly. So you know it's not gonna have like motion control stuff. It's all gonna function on the Switch.
That's what I'm
So
talking
yeah.
Did anybody
Cool.
see what Dan Reichel's response to this was? Because I just want to see if what he did.
He was excited. Jeff Gerstmann was the response you wanted. He was like, "Go get to Dan's stream and tell him to screw off." And then, sure enough, that's all the comments were.
I like to think that like Nintendo made it because of the popularity of Dan Reichel making Mario Party a thing. Like they were like somewhere in Japan, a bunch of Japanese businessmen were sitting
yes.
around being like, "The Americans truly love it," and they're just watching Dan Reichel's stream.
I mean, his streams are basically a Japanese game show where you can earn a free toaster.
If you guys don't watch, I don't watch a lot of streams, but I do watch Dan Reichel when I get a chance. He's a great, like, I'm feeling down about the ward, and then I turn on Dan Reichel's stream. I'm like, the one's perfect.
We're gonna watch Highlander 2.
Oh, it's fun. I like Dan. Dan Reichel's a hero. Dude, like Mario Party, fine. I mean, I would play some Mario Party with y'all.
We'll talk about the big.
Let's talk
one
about the
first.
big one.
It's
Go ahead.
Metroid. A Metroid game.
Dread,
I
which
never
is
played
cool
a Metroid game.
because
I am so fucking
I
excited.
love Metroid.
You never played a Metroid?
I've never played a
game?
Metroid game.
Okay.
It's like we have a show that is dedicated to fixing things.
I'm
As
gonna
long
make
as it's not that crappy Nintendo DS one.
No, hell
Oh,
no.
no.
We're gonna play
Because I
Fusion.
did play like 4 seconds of
Yeah,
that, and I was just like,
Fusion.
"This is Metroid."
That's not the
Metroid,
next game, but we're gonna play Fusion.
Metroid Fusion is legitimately one of my favorite video games of all time.
That's a great video game.
I love Metroid Fusion. It was a Game Boy Advance game.
Mhm.
And it was one of those, like, it's one of the few times in a video game, especially at that time, where I finished it and I instantly started the game back over.
Oh, wow.
Like, I love that game. I love 2D, adventure/platformer games in general. We just bragged a lot about the Messenger and stuff. My only hope is this, and it seems like it is, because they showed off like a timeline of what this is like, what you should play before playing this, and it was like Fusion was on there.
Yeah, this is the main timeline we're in. This is the first
There's
time
lore.
we're getting.
Okay.
This is the first time we're getting a sequel. They said expanding this story in 19 years.
I'm
with
gonna tell you
Fusion.
right now, though. Like, I'll tell you right now, like, you don't have to give a shit.
I mean,
Like,
Yeah,
Metroid
it's-
does not. The story of Metroid is kick-ass lady with gun goes around spaceships, killing monsters and getting power ups.
And rolls up into a ball.
And rolls up in a ball. Like,
literally what all you need.
I was so excited because we technically got 2 Metroid games announced, because they did announce that they're working on Prime.
Still, that's not really an announcement though. It's
But,
like,
like,
we're still working on Prime 4.
They said
Trust.
it, but like
They did say it, which is big for them.
But they said it, but the big thing is, like, it's notoriously well documented that Nintendo Japan does not really consider Metroid as big of a thing as it is here. Like, that's one of the reasons why it took a long time for us to get anything, is that it was just not considered like a tentpole game. Like, to me, if you say, like, name the top, like, Nintendo properties, I'm gonna say Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Donkey Kong. Like, that's like if you put a gun to my head. Donkey Kong, I know, is on the bottom. That's right.
That's when you start panicking with the gun next to your head.
But Metroid, to me, Metroid is a no-brainer. But it is documented that Nintendo Japan doesn't feel like Metroid is like on that same caliber.
It's never been big in Japan.
So the fact that we got them saying like, "Hey, Prime is still coming," and we got this, which is coming this year and has a killer fucking collector's edition.
Oh, I'm gonna get that. It's
dude.
already sold out, but you know they're gonna have to print more of those.
Oh, it looks cool, man.
It has better box art than the original. The box art for the collector's edition is now my phone background.
It's a fucking like I'm so excited.
That's badass.
Yeah, right.
It's a badass. It's bad.
The armor's cool. I'll give it that.
Yeah,
Well,
the armor is the
I
best
would-
Samus armor I've seen. This
And
is
like knowing you and the kind of games you enjoy, I'm gonna tell you right now, like Metroid Fusion in particular, and like there's several other Metroid games I would love to do for the show. I would love to go back and play Super Metroid, to be honest with you.
Super Metroid Zero Mission. I played
Zero Mission would be
3
great.
of the now 5 games. I tried looking up today where I could find Samus Returns, the remake of Metroid 2, but that is still a $40 video game for the 3DS.
Yeah, but
Or alternatively, I could play original Metroid 2 on the 3DS for $4, which is on from the Game Boy. So that seems tough to go
anyway,
back to.
I would love to one
Yeah.
day for this show do Fusion.
Absolutely.
I would love to do Metroid Fusion. And I can tell you right now, Nick, like I don't like put my money down on much, but like you would love that game.
Cool.
So I am very excited about this. This was very much in my top 5 of games I was excited about. When you sent me, because I wasn't able to watch, I was working at the time, and you sent me the trailer for it, and I was like, holy shit, this is.
And the fact that it's called Dread, which is for people aware of like Fusion at the time, that was rumored to be the next title of the game since like a couple years after the
everything
fact.
in that footage just looked like, hey, you like that fucking Metroid Fusion? Check out this Metroid. I was very excited. It was so excited that like they talked about a new Zelda and it didn't register with me as much as that Metroid.
I'm with you as a big Zelda fan. Breath of the Wild being one of my favorite games of all time. I'm like, I was like, we knew this game was happening. Yeah, it's coming out, but Metroid, that's the story here.
It was exciting.
That's the game.
That's what I remember when I think of E3. I always remembered that's like what would happen at E3. Big announcements on big fucking games. And one of the things for the past couple of years that's kind of bummed me out is that we haven't got a bunch of like show-stopping announcements. Like, here's a big AAA game coming out. And this was like, it brought me back to that feeling of like, oh shit, fucking Metroid got a game, man. And it's this year. I am so excited. I'll be playing that thing day one. I am just that thing's probably one of my most anticipated games of this year.
It's my number 1 now.
Yeah.
It jumped up the list completely.
Yeah, but
let's go to the point where I feel bad. An indie game that I was really excited for, Axiom Verge 2. I was like, oh cool, they're doing like a Super Metroid thing, but actually seeing the king has returned. Do we need another Metroidvania that looks really good?
Verge 2 looks good.
It does look really cool. It's
still
more
cool.
of a melee combat focused one, so you could argue it's more Castlevania.
And it's also,
Metroid.
it has the Super Nintendo style art,
that's true.
gameplay. I agree with you, but it's different enough that I would still.
I'm going to check it out, but there's no way I check it out if it's around the same time as. They're probably like, let's sell for an October date, and then if they saw this, they're like,
Push that thing back.
We need to tweak some things.
I would push that thing back.
Yeah.
Tell me about what else was in this.
Kazuya Hamishima is now in Smash with the best reveal trailer of all time, where he's just throwing Nintendo characters off of a volcano. It's beautiful.
Y'all ever think how weird it is that they got all these like M-rated properties in Smash now? Like you have fucking like Solid Snake in Smash.
Bayonetta was the big question mark.
Bayonetta, that when she does super moves, she gets completely naked because her clothes are just hair. Like it's fucking weird. I saw that and I was like, this is great.
He throws Kirby. He just drops Kirby off the cliff.
And my favorite thing is how serious it is, and he's fucking holding Kirby. if you
those
came,
Smash trailers are a work of art. All of them are like.
if you
genius.
sent me a message and you said Scorpion is now in Smash,
I believe
That'd
you.
be awesome.
I'd just be like, yeah, okay, yeah,
Makes sense.
Can he fatality Kirby?
That would
The
be
Smash community
awesome
is
too.
angry, and I love because they're like, who are these like boomers that are asking for Terry Bogard and Kazuya Hamishima? And I'm like, I'm the idiot asking for that stuff,
like, I take offense at that.
right?
Like,
I was like, Terry Bogard could solo any of these guys.
yeah, fuck you, Kirby. Terry Bogart's
Terry
a fucking
Bogard's
man.
cool. He killed his arch enemy, took his son, and raised him as his own. As the ultimate revenge. Like, I'm gonna keep your son's last name. I'm gonna raise your son and train him to fight for me.
Oh, anybody
It's
can be a dad.
Yeah.
He's really an inspirational story. If you
Yeah.
I love the fact of like how many movies is there where like someone gets like they kill somebody's dad and the guy comes back like 20 years later to get revenge. No, he just raised him. He's like
You solved that problem right at the source.
really, it's the ultimate way of doing it. Like if you did that from the get go, most of the time no one would ever come back. It just cuts to him and like sitting around the table, be like, you see, if you multiply 5 times 5, you get 25. And like it's just him doing like daily dad stuff. Like I would fucking love if there was like just like a few cutscenes of him just being like, no, you gotta mow the yard in a straight line, all right? It looks bad if you do like just doing dad shit.
Really want to see Terry Bogard just being a dad.
I always get him and Mike Haggard confused.
You did that in like an earlier episode of this
every
show.
time you
You're like,
say,
oh, he's a mayor, right?
every time you say that, I was like, yeah, he's a fucking mayor. And then I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna go through these. Guardians of the Galaxy is coming to Switch, but it's a cloud game.
Yeah.
Life is Strange Collection is coming to Switch.
Play Life is Strange.
Play Life is Strange. 2 Point Campus was shown for the 3rd time. There's a Monkey Ball Classic Collection.
Cool.
Monkey Target is a top 10 mini game of all time.
Okay.
You fly as monkeys and try to land in a ball. It's kind of cool. Mario Golf looks good. WarioWare's back.
WarioWare.
I like WarioWare.
Shin Megami Tensei 5. Danganronpa is coming to Switch, which seems like a weird Michael game that I will try to convince you guys to play. Be like, oh, we should play this pretty soon. And you'd be like, add it to the list. And then you just delete it from the list.
Once it's not getting any votes, don't worry about it.
Fatal Frame, Tony Hawk, Advanced Wars 1 and 2 is getting a remaster.
Advance Wars are fun games. I like those games.
Way Forward's doing those.
I like those games. They're fun. Anything else?
Breath of the Wild 2.
I mean,
that trailer looks really good.
It's
Link has like a Winter Soldier arm. It's kind of
maybe
sweet.
I'm an idiot, but like I was kind of surprised that there was Breath of the Wild 2 so soon. Like to me, I feel like Nintendo's notorious for like not capitalizing on those kind of things right away. Like I was kind of surprised. I mean, maybe I'm just being dumb, but like I was kind of surprised that it was so soon.
Well, the hardest thing about creating Breath of the Wild for them was creating the like physics engine and creating the world itself. This kind of uses like the same world. They're playing twists on it and adding like a sky layer to it. And the physics engine's already there.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is just like take that world, take some interesting concepts, change some stuff around, and you already got a good foundation for a sequel.
I am excited for the more highlight reel clips that they're going to be showing of people doing crazy shit with that physics.
Just breaking that game.
Yeah, that's fun as
Like,
hell.
I'm just going to launch myself right into the boss's chamber 10 minutes into this video
fucking
game.
love that shit.
So it's going to be cool.
But no, like that's a cool. I mean, Nintendo like brought some really heavy hitters to this.
It was a great conference, and they showed like 20 minutes of that Metroid Dread gameplay. They don't like spoil anything, but like they show off how that game plays, and that game looks sick. And that was like the last big conference.
Y'all ready to talk some indies?
I'm ready to talk some indies.
Because indies, I think they get overlooked a lot of times in these conferences because you have like the top things you need to see from E3, and it's like Halo and Metroid and it's some big games, Guardians of the Galaxy being announced and coming out, but there was some shit ton of little indie games that I was excited for. Starting off with the Summer Games event, but also I want to give a big shout out to Devolver for having one of the actual generally fun fucking press conferences.
As they do every year.
Like, Devolver I check out games that they publish entirely off the fact that they're one of the few, like, I don't believe in, like, buying into a company as it's a cool company, because, it's still a company, and they gotta fucking make money, and they got people they gotta, be responsible to. But Devolver just runs their press and how they do stuff in such a fun, interesting way that it was hard not to be excited watching some of that stuff.
Absolutely.
What's some highlights for you, Mike? And then I'll talk about some highlights for me.
Inscription was one that they had. It's like an FMV like card game that reminds me of Hand of Fate. That one looks really trippy and creepy. That seems really cool.
It's almost Nick. I think you as a card guy, I would really think you would like this, because it looks like you're playing a card game, but then like you're playing it with like almost like a monster, or like a something, because like those eyes peering at you from the dark, and as you are playing the cards, it's like forming little scenes on the table.
It's a very hard game to describe.
It's very hard to describe, but you being like a card game guy, I could really see you enjoying this. When I saw it, I was like, right away, I was like, this is a Nick game. But like as you are playing cards and you're doing stuff, like they'll form little scenes on the table, but then like you're dealing with these like really creepy scenes. Like it's almost like, this might not be anything like the game actually is, but I felt like you're like playing a game of cards for your soul or something. Like you're playing against like the devil himself. Yeah. It was really cool. It was a really fascinating.
Oh, that's weird. I'm looking at a trailer silently here. That is strange.
It's really cool looking though.
Yeah.
I saw that as a card game. I was like, this is a Nick game.
Yeah, I will definitely check that out.
Phantom Abyss looks awesome. That's the like Legends of the Hidden Temple procedurally generated dungeons that only one person can complete.
Yeah, so each dungeon, let me pitch this to you.
Wow.
Each dungeon is procedurally generated. Once someone beats a dungeon, it's forever locked away.
Wow.
And you are the only person who's ever beaten that dungeon. And it does the whole ghost mechanic where you'll see ghosts of players who have failed to beat the dungeon.
So you can see how they died, so you can kind of use them, but like, oh wait, the ghost stops here. There's something over there. I don't want to follow that
And you
ghost.
have like a whip mechanic that helps you navigate the environment. This game looks fucking fun, and one of my favorite things is the concept that you are the only person. You technically will be the only person who ever beats that level.
That's great. So, like, can you restart the level when you die?
No.
Wow.
You can't go back into it. It's
That's
one and done.
You have one shot to beat it.
Wow.
If you don't beat it, you don't beat it. And you're the ghost.
That's great. Oh, yeah, that's insane.
It's
so
the coolest idea for a video game.
Wow.
And it's like an Indiana Jones thing. So you're dealing with traps and stuff, and you're trying to get an idol. It seems like a game that I would waste so much time.
Yeah,
I'm gonna finally, after hours, finish one and then never touch the game.
Well,
Like, I did it. I have conquered it.
hope there's a way to like brag about it.
Like you would imagine, like there's like this is how many dungeons I have. You can't beat these dungeons.
Like
I have 10 of them.
I would love to like have a leaderboard with your friends. You could be like, so I could be like, Nick.
Oh, if I'm just competing with you guys to be the best, like dungeon
like
solver.
I can see it. Like I'm like, okay, man.
I'm
playing something. Damn, Michael's got 25 dungeons, and
Well,
then
that's not gonna happen.
I do a dungeon, and like I fell in it, and then Nick beats the dungeon. I'm like, fuck, Nick
Or I
beat
wonder,
the dungeon.
there should be a way to quick try a friend center. Like, oh, you failed this dungeon? I'm gonna take this
that would be
dungeon
cool,
from
too.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be.
That'd be
man.
insane.
If there was a way to like challenge somebody, like I failed the dungeon, I could send it to y'all guys and be like, hey, I failed this dungeon. Can you beat it?
Or like, if there's a way, you can only have one person play the dungeon at once, but can I like watch you play it and then you watch me play this dungeon?
Dude, like
there's,
there's so
the
much good
potential
stuff.
for this is
That's
And
crazy,
it
man.
looks super smooth. The way the whip walks, where it's a way of like navigating the environment with the whip. They described it as different whip. You have in different whips that give you different properties, so you can kind of pick and choose. It seems like you might want to pick your whip based on what you think you might face in the dungeon. This was one of the games of the show for me.
Absolutely.
I was so fucking excited when I saw this. I so hope they nailed down the connectivity. Remember when what was the motorcycle game? What was the motorcycle game? Oh crap! It just left my head. The motorcycle game that was out on the Xbox Live Arcade. it'll
I have no idea what you're talking
It'll
about.
come to me. It was there was a motorcycle game where you're competing on tracks, but it was all about being able to share your times with your buddies. It'll come to me in a second.
Was it one of the Doritos Crash Course games? Or
No. It was a thing. It will come to me in a second.
If
but
you
long
know
story
that
short,
game, right into
save at gmail.com. But this game, I so hope they nail down like the connectivity of your friends list, because I just want to be able to say like, oh shit, Nick beat like 5 of them today. I gotta catch up. Or crap. Really, I just want to be like, Nick failed at this dungeon. I want to stalk your dungeons and everyone you fail.
And just show you every time like I was better than you in every one of these dungeons.
Like, it's a great looking game, a great concept. I'm amazed no one's ever thought of this before.
It's like the Dark Souls Phantom thing, like on crack.
Yeah,
like I'm watching this trailer and it's just like 17 ghosts running ahead of you. It's insane.
I'm so fucking excited for this game.
Oh man, that looks awesome.
Road 96 is the game I'm excited for.
That does look. If they can pull it off,
if
with
they
that
can
budget.
pull this off. So this is a game in which you are playing as a character. They were very vague when they were describing it, but you look to be playing as a character trying to get to the border in like the southern United States. And it's a story-based game. It seems like you are generally creating your own path to get there. So you have a point A and a point B, obviously, and how you get there is up to you. They showed some really cool interactions with you and a character who was in a taxi. That, you know, how things can play out there. It seems like a game that basically is like, hey, here's where you start. You got to get here, figure it out.
Yeah.
My fear is it looks very ambitious. And one thing you mentioned was like, hey, this is a very small studio. Boy, I would hope that they actually can pull off what they're promising here.
Or like, I hope I don't run into too many repeat scenarios.
Because what they bragged about was that you would, by the end of the game, basically have created your own path to do that. And it was going to be unique to everybody. My fear is that by unique, it's going to be like, oh, you picked one of these 5 options. If they actually do what they were promising, I could see this being a really cool story-based game. What I saw was there was a whole part. I went back and actually watched some of this because in the conference we were talking over it and stuff, where you're dealing with a taxi driver who you're riding along the road with, and it was really fascinating, like the weirdness and uniqueness of some of these characters and the possibilities that it was happening. It's like a road trip, the video game. I thought it looked cool.
There's a game similarly structured to that I think looks really cool coming to Game Pass in August. 12 Minutes looks
That's
crazy.
That's the one with Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley, Willem Dafoe, and James McAvoy as the voice cast for this game.
Yeah, so it's got
you're in this house and you can't leave this house, but in 12 minutes people break in and kill you, I think, or capture you or something. So you are trapped in a time loop, like an Edge of Tomorrow Groundhog Day situation, where your characters know what happened to them previously, supposedly, and you're trying to figure out how to break the time loop and get out of the house.
This was announced like a while ago, wasn't it?
6 years ago.
Yeah,
But
I remember hearing about this like a long time ago.
They've had the voice cast, they've like expanded, but with an indie game like this is one that I feel like can nail the ambition just because they spent so much time. They have like Microsoft promoting them, so they have like Microsoft money behind them too. So
also, it's crazy to think like William Dafoe and Daisy Ridley. Like
you have to have a budget to sign those names.
Yeah, you can't. Like, they're not walking for peanuts. All right, like, you know, especially Daisy Ridley. Now, maybe we could get William Dafoe, but Daisy Ridley ain't walking for cheap. That looked really, really cool. That's also a Game Pass game. That might be, if it's short enough, I would love to maybe try that for the show. I could see potential for that.
I need to see how long that game is, because if it's like a 5-6 hour thing, I'll be like, we're playing this.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, it says expected 6 to 8 hours.
Oh.
But what do they know?
Yeah. Wikipedia don't know shit. Trek the Yuma.
Oh, yeah, right. That was the 2D samurai game.
It's a 2D black and white samurai game. Looks like all those old samurai movies. I know what they're doing. I know that it's a trope, but damn, is it not pretty. And some of the footage they showed of like the fights in like a burning city behind you or deep in the woods. That Ghost of Tsushima. Thank you for saying that first so I could get that semi right. There was all the brags about like how beautiful those samurai fights looked. This looks like that kind of.
Yeah.
I know that it would have probably been more exciting if it hadn't come out after that other game, but from what I saw of this, it looked really, really cool. It was visually striking enough that it made me excited.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, just going to jump in here with a game that only Eric cares about. Shadow Warrior 3. I love me some fucking fast-paced first-person shooters. This is a fast-paced first-person shooter. I played the other Devolver Shadow Warriors. They are fine. This is straight up ripping off like the Doom Eternal combat. Like they're doing the weapon wheel stuff that you do in Doom. They're doing the glory kills. Much like I said about Nakamunda, where it's like, okay, cool, I want more of that. You say the fucking jokes. Shadow Warrior 3 looks like it's doing that to the extreme also, but I'm excited for that. Mm-hmm. The other ones, like the other Devolver Shadow Warrior games, are fine. They're good, but this one looks like it's. I like fast-paced first-person shooter, so it was exciting.
Yeah.
Michael, there's a lot of games that I saw that were kind of exciting. Like I'm just gonna breeze through a few of them, like Wizard with a Gun.
Wizard with a Gun is a great title
Wizard
for a video
with a
game.
Gun.
It's good.
Where you're basically
Wizard with a Gun. That's all you need to do.
Very cool trailer. Very fun trailer.
I want to shout out Signalis. It was like a PS1 Resident Evil meets Metal Gear with some cosmic horror that looks nuts with like the polygonal graphic style and everything.
Death's Door I want to talk about.
That does look cool.
You play as a raven who works in an office. It's a ward where death no longer affects people. So you apparently work at like the death department and you're a raven with a sword. But what it is it looks to be like it looks like it plays very similar to Hades.
Okay.
The way the gameplay is a very fast-paced kind of action, adventure kind of game. They showed it off both at the Devolver press conference and at the Summer Games event thing.
Mm-hmm.
Looked really good. It looks cool. It looks like something. I dig the style.
Yeah.
It's fun to see ravens sitting at like little office cubicles, working on shit. Also, as a raven with a sword, so that's kind of cool. It was a cool fucking looking game.
I have one more indie to talk about. They showed it at the GameSpot Play for All showcase. It was called Chinatown Detective Agency. And it's a game that they were inspired by Carmen Sandiego, a game where you had to use real research to like solve things. So they said you're actually going to have to like do real world research to like kind of piece together like this dark story. So it was like an adult style game, but with like that.
Well, what is Carmen Sandiego? And Carmen Sandiego assassinated the president of Venezuela.
So I thought that was a really cool concept for a game. I'm really excited to jump back into that style again.
Is that real?
No, Carmen Sandiego did not do that.
Did they do a cartoon?
They did do a cartoon.
Yeah, apparently.
But not about the...
that is a cool concept. Like, I like the idea of, like, having to go on the internet and looking up stuff.
I hope there's, like, a browser, like, in the game. Like, in the old Carmen Sandiego games, you would have, like, an encyclopedia in the game, but the more you use it, like, the less charge you had. So that'd be, like, a cool... But in this world, if I could just look it up on my phone...
Yeah, like, that wouldn't work.
That wouldn't work in this, like... And plus, it would kind of make sense that if you're playing as a character who has, like, a smartphone or something, he'll probably just be like, I'm just gonna...
I got one more I want to talk about.
I was going to say, I'm going to add one to this Devolver list that I just watched the trailer for.
What is it?
Demon Throttle.
Demon Throttle.
It's Link's Awakening.
It's a physical-only video game.
Yeah, it's Link's Awakening, and the trailer says, that demon kissed my wife.
You have to go buy that. Like, it's only physical only. But
man, I'll buy it. It looks amazing.
It literally says, that demon kissed my wife. And if you watch the trailer, the wife did not complain. Like, I
She was
feel
like, yeah.
I want to... There was also what's that stop-motion game?
There was 2 stop-motion games.
There was a stop-motion game where a guy straight up did the entire game in stop-motion.
There was one at Day of the Devs. I forgot what that was called. Oh, Vocabulantis was the first one.
Yeah.
And there's another one.
The stop-motion game looked amazing.
Then there was a one that was like more Wes Anderson-y style.
That's
Henry
insane.
Halibut was that one.
It's insane.
That looks
You
crazy.
see that? It looks like a Wallace and Gromit cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, but it's the fact that that's a video game. Like, it's not often do I see something like that I'm like, holy shit, you can do that in video games. My last one, I really want to kind of bring a call out for. One of my favorite games of this year so far that I've discovered is Project Warlock, which was the first-person shooter designed by, I believe, a 20-year-old guy who made one of the best throwback first-person shooters I have ever played. Project Warlock being like a cross between like a Doom style, throwback. Really fucking awesome video game. He's got a sequel coming out.
Okay.
Project Warlock 2. And it looks like more Project Warlock. And that's a game that I talked about on one of these shows, I believe. It's a freaking amazingly quality game for somebody who made a video game at 20 years old on Unity of all, freaking things. And it runs well. All the weapons are fascinating. Like as you get upgraded weapons, so when I saw that he's getting a sequel releasing that, and it also looks like he's moving it along maybe in the timeline, so it looks almost more like a Quake 1 style. Basically the trailer is straight up like new guns, new spells, more fucking Project Warlock. And it was like from a game like that, like I don't need to see a fancy trailer. Just tell me you're making more Project Warlock.
You should check out a game that was shown at the Indie Showcase called Fallen Aces. It's a Prohibition era Doom clone in like that classic, like 1990s style.
I'll look into that. That looks
Fallen
cool.
Aces seems like something you would.
I'm
like.
a sucker for like boomer shooters.
We forgot about the most important game that was announced at the Limited Run Showcase. They're bringing back Plumbers Don't Wear Ties.
Which will be a state of the save show.
Oh no.
We're going to do Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Ain't that the porno game?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a game that is not stop motion because I guess they didn't have a budget.
It's full motion video.
It's not
incredible.
It's not full motion video. It is still images.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have the budget to shoot anything, so it's literally just an image game where you're playing with still images.
It's like a softcore pornography game. What's that? Like,
I remember an angry video game nerd video on it, and I was just like, this game seems horrendous.
Which is why we're doing it for State of the
I
Save.
googled it and it says
Night
plumbers
Trap.
don't wear ties is somehow coming to modern systems.
Because they bought the rights to that game. Limited Run
Okay.
is the publisher of that game.
We've talked about getting into streaming. What happens if the first stream we ever did as a show was Plumbers Don't Wear Ties?
Jeff Gerstmann was saying you can't play that game on Twitch. It's banned from
believe it.
Twitch.
Oh, so I guess it straight up is
I
softcore
don't know.
pornography.
It might just be like, hey, this game is
Can
too
you
bad.
Can you play Night Trap?
You can play Night Trap.
Can
Well,
we
Night
too?
Trap's like T.
Can we? Yeah, but I want to play Night Trap.
That
That'd be
seems
a
like-
great state of that would stay in line with our general show. That the first stream we did is just playing Night Trap.
That would.
I'm a ton of great shit, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It was this E3 was good. You just had to do some digging. That was the
Exactly.
problem.
Video games are not dead. I can
No,
confirm.
fuck. Video games are not dead.
Chaos would have you believe that video games have died.
But apparently Chaos dies anyway,
Yeah,
so...
apparently that guy's gonna kill fucking Chaos to save video games. No, like there was a ton of great games. We're just at a different point with the way development was from the past year.
Yeah.
And also with the way video games are just made now. There's not going to be like it was on the PlayStation 2 where you would have like 20 big announcements because there's not those kind of thing. This year there was a lot of weird shit that happened. So the fact that we had as many cool stuff announced as we did, to me, was pretty exciting. It was a hell of a lot better than last E3. You just had to do some digging this year, in my mind. But the stuff that was there was pretty cool.
There's something for everyone here. If you dig for it, you're going to find something, whether it's the indie showcases or Nintendo, you're going to find something that goes, I can't wait for that video game.
I came away with like 30 games that I was excited for.
No, I'm just saying, as somebody who doesn't watch E3 or pay attention to this, I feel like it could not have been like harder to find.
No,
like
you're
it's
right.
it's an exposition, or it was. Now it's an experience. I should not have to dig to find the.
No,
cool
you're
stuff.
100% right.
I think that's weird, and I hope that like I understand. I don't envy anybody who's in the position to have to put this on, because how do you do a conference that has a show floor when you can't get in the same room as somebody?
Well, like, I think the big reason this year was weird. And I'm hoping that I've had people say that, hey, I'm waiting for you guys to do a show on this so I can tell what was actually good.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this helped direct people to, like, I'm hoping that somebody's sitting there with YouTube up, like, looking at trailers of this stuff because
That's what I
obviously
did the whole time.
Yeah, exactly what you did. But like that's what we kind of want you to do. But you're right. There's no excuse for the fact that you have to come to a podcast or a stream or anything like that to find what was actually good at E3.
You should just click
You
play
should
on a
just
conference
click
and go,
play.
yeah.
I know a lot of this is, you brought up the Jeff Garsman statement about like a lot of this is like backroom politics for next year.
Mm-hmm.
But there was so much fucking fluff. Like I don't envy you. I appreciate you doing this, but I don't envy you when you watched so many press conferences that there was just fucking fluff.
I watched the Koch conference.
Yeah.
That was just people in a room talking about, hey, we're making the Kingdom Come game for Switch. I'm going to talk about 20 minutes from it as like I have a coat of arms on my wall, and you're like, okay, cool. All right, dude with the mustache.
Like I feel this year, I feel like there was a lot of like, whoever put this show on, the guys who put this show on were like, hey, Take Two, you want to do a conference? And like, yeah, they just didn't ask them what they were going to talk about. Or, hey, Capcom, do you want to do your press conference? They're like, yeah. And they just didn't ask them. Because if you were like trying to pitch to you, like, hey, man, are you going to follow E3? I feel like you would have tapped out in the first day because there was so much wasted time and wasted disrespect for your time. Like, is the thing I would argue. Like, I talk about the Gearbox thing. That all could have been released in a 20-minute YouTube video. Nobody needed to watch the fucking Verizon conference. No, the Capcom one was a glorified panel at like a Comic-Con where we were just talking about like the state of Capcom.
If they released that as like a 15-minute surprise video on their YouTube channel,
It would have been
you would have been like, all right, cool. They're
the
making it in Resident Evil 8 DLC. Awesome.
The only conferences that were worth watching in my mind was the Nintendo, the Microsoft, and I will say Devolver. Because
Day of the Devs.
But like those are like, if unless you're somebody like us sitting here who enjoy indie games, I'm trying to think like if I'm like a mainstream, I buy 5 to 6 video games a year.
Gotcha.
Like, you're not going to fucking care. Like, think about how disappointing that would be if you're like somebody who like, hey, I buy video games and I hear that the guys who make Street Fighter are doing a conference and you watch that and you're like, this fucking sucks. Video games must be dead, but like I think about I'm not going to excuse the fucking terrible people that were talking shit in that chat on the Take-Two thing, but I was sitting there thinking, if you're somebody who's excited about, it's the big video game conference and I like, I want to see what's going on, and you turn that on, that's what they're putting at the big video game conference?
Like, they own Grand Theft Auto. I'm going to tune in to see what they have to say at E3, and you're just like, what?
Are we going to get a new
I
Grand
guess they
Theft
have
Auto?
nothing.
Because like people make fun of people being like, where's the new Grand Theft Auto? But not everybody sits around all day and like listens to podcasts about video games. Like some people generally just be like, it's the Grand Theft Auto people. Clearly they might talk about Grand Theft Auto, and then you tune in and it's like a fucking board meeting, an HR board meeting. Then you're going to be disappointed, and you have a right to be.
Yeah,
Don't
absolutely.
put it was all about placement. Don't put this shit at E3. Put it someplace else. This content
Or
was
at
not
least
bad.
clearly spell out what it is.
Exactly. Don't call it a conference.
No,
Just
they
say
call it like a specialty panel or something.
But, like,
but still, you put that on the mainstream.
for E3, like if you looked up the menu of like what was going to happen at E3, that shit was there. Or you talk about Gearbox, who's like, boy, it's Gearbox. Maybe they'll show some gameplay footage or nothing.
Take-Two interactive panel was what that was called. Interactive implies like some type of interactivity, like, I don't know, a video game or something.
Like, hey man, we're gonna play this and talk about as we play through this
Yeah, exactly.
To me, like, hey, if you're not there, if you're not gonna show video games at this thing, don't fucking do a panel. Do it later. Like, because the problem is no one's receptive to what you're saying because no one showed up for it. Like, if you showed up for the Capcom retrospective, you know what you're getting. But if you showed up to see more games from Capcom, you were disappointed. That's just my point of view on it. Because I feel like it buried a lot of the good stuff, and it made it harder to, like, try to drive people to it. But all that's a mute point because I don't run E3. Final thoughts on the E3 show, Michael. I'm gonna let you close this out on that part because you're the expert on the E3 stuff.
It's E3. Even when it's bad, I still have a fun time watching these conferences because there is going to be something that's going to resonate with me that I look forward to. every E3 I look for something like if I can just walk out with a few games that I'm like really excited for, then I think on some metric it succeeded. Like Metroid, a bunch of other games that seem cool. Phantom Abyss is one I think if it's on Game Pass, I don't think it is, but I have a feeling we're all going to end up buying that
For sure.
when it comes out because I want that experience of playing that when it's fresh and new. There's a lot here that I'm really excited for, and one thing I want to say is that Xbox is doing a thing and Steam's doing a thing too where you can play like show 4 demo equivalents. They have a section on the page where you can just, hey, if you didn't watch the show, you can just, there's 40 demos on the Xbox store now of games that were featured that you can just play. You can play like games like Lake that we didn't talk about or Sable. There's a few games on there that I have downloaded that I want to check out before they disappear next week. So
Super cool.
that's worth checking out.
It was a good show. Nick, any thoughts on, as the guy who's we were kind of like selling the information to, like, how do you feel about the stuff, you've been watching? Because I know you've been watching a bunch of like the trailers and stuff we've been talking about. Is you excited about some of this stuff?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I would say that the biggest bulk of what I'm excited about is probably going to be those indie titles, aside from like Halo and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think there was going to be this much to look forward to.
There was a lot there. It really was. It was just buried.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that it was because, like I said, it was a really good, strong show. I think it was a good. Video games are in a good place.
Video games are cool.
Video games are cool. If you would like to talk about cool video games, stateofthesave@gmail.com is our email address. You can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at State of the Save. TikTok's going pretty well right now.
Very well. We went semi-viral, and people singing. I don't know if anyone's checked us out because of it. I tried to direct them that way, and that one did pretty well.
Yeah. Bully Part 2 just came out last week. These Bully shows, I don't feel like enough people are giving them a shot. They're good shows. Bully's a good game, and I think that these shows they've sparked some conversation. It's been very fascinating, especially this last one. There was some really good conversation on there. Last episode of Bully is coming out next week, and then we'll be announcing our new game. So lots of cool shit coming down the pipeline. As always, thank you guys for listening. Having a ball doing this one. This was a fun episode. Hell, this thing was 2 hours long. Who the hell knew that was going to happen?
I had a feeling.
Yeah, we started off. These late night shows fuck us up, man. Y'all stay safe out there. Thank you.
Chaos.